Good morning, this is Stuart from We Sell Homes in Paradise, down on the beach in Torre Guadillaro. It's about 9:30 a.m. Look at that sunshine beaming down. So this video is about why different nationalities buy here in southern Spain. And we're very fortunate because we do viewing tours, and many of these viewing tours we're in cars together for a good few hours a day. And we hear a lot and we get a lot of anecdotes. So I'm going to tell you some of the anecdotal evidence of why people are moving from different countries to southern Spain. 1 or 2 points so we can keep this short. So let's start with the Americans. Mostly they're moving to southern Spain for 2 reasons. The first reason is quite political. A lot of them didn't like when Trump came into power. So there was a mass exodus, particularly the more liberal Americans. And now we see Americans that don't like the fact that Biden's in power, perhaps the more capitalistic ones. So it's a big thing for them, the political landscape. Now with the golden visa likely to be pulled, we're seeing less Americans coming on the golden visa, but they're still looking at things like the non-lucrative visa or the digital nomad visa. The other big factor for them, particularly if they live in the expensive parts like the California coast or perhaps up in New York or down in Florida, are things like health insurance. Health insurance is really expensive in comparison to Spain. We've heard of doctors even paying $3,000 a month for a family of 3, and then there's an excess as well that they have to pay if they get treatments. Here, we've got customers' health insurance for about 250 euros a month, and that's fully comprehensive. HOAs in Florida run above $1,000 a month. Here, community fees, the equivalent, are about 250 euros a month for similar types of apartments or condos, as you would call it. And then lastly, property taxes. What we have here is called IBI. In California, we know of customers who have $2 million houses, villas we would call them, paying $20,000 a year in property taxes. So cost of living is a big factor. Now the Brits, another big market for us. Sadly, we hear a lot, and these are people who are perhaps more senior, talking about England's gone to pot. They want to get out of England. And I don't know if that's the case. My family still live very happily in England. However, they are seeing the quintessential villages that they lived in changing massively. Of course, the cost of living is really expensive in the UK as well with inflation. And essentially, they just want to get back to a simple life. Perhaps they just need the sunshine, this wonderful sunshine we have. So again, it's cost of living. And then when we come to other countries like Scandinavia, we sell a lot to Danish people and Swedish people. Interestingly, they're very sporty people, our customers. So they come here, they love their golf, they love their paddle and tennis. And this really offers them that year-round ability to do that and to chase that winter sun. Many of them have them as holiday homes. Now, the other thing, which is if you scratch the surface a little bit, in Denmark, there's something called jantelov, which is about not showing off too much. And I think there's a lot of Danish customers that, have been successful. They want to have the trappings of their success, maybe a nice penthouse or maybe a cabriolet car, and they feel a little bit self-conscious doing these sorts of things in Denmark. Whereas here in Spain, you can be whoever you want to be. And so they feel more comfortable going around with these lovely things. Moving forward, we sell a lot to people from the Middle East, but mostly expats living in the Middle East. We've sold to Qataris and Emiratis, so nationals as well. But the expats come here because this is a lifestyle that they're used to, and they can get it here whilst being more connected to Europe, okay, if there's health issues or anything like this. So the other big nation that we sell to, or let's again say expats living in a big nation, is to Singaporeans or people who have lived in Singapore. I've lived in Singapore myself, and of course that comes down to costs as well and being more connected to Europe. So they tend to buy a property as a holiday home before they finally make the full move here. A lot of them come here on digital nomad visas, so still working for big multinationals, earning their money outside of Spain, and of course having the ability to work remotely within Spain, which is really good because obviously there's that difference in what you earn and what you spend. So it's a great way to achieve a great retirement pot. So these are some of the reasons, more anecdotal, why people choose southern Spain. The big one, of course, is the weather. Again, it's 9:30 in the morning, the sun is shining, and also the landscape and the fact that we're so well connected to the rest of Europe through Malaga. So I think it's quite interesting to know why other nationalities buy here. Another big one for us has been Czech clients. Many of them are investors. They buy here because the rental yields in Prague aren't so great, especially with the prices you pay. I believe there's some form of rent control. Here, even with holiday homes and coming to use them quite regularly, they can still make 5% return on investment when they get a good property manager. So we've talked about Americans, we've talked about Czechs, we've talked about people living in the Middle East, Singapore, the Scandinavians, particularly the Danes. I mean, this place has something to offer to all nationalities, and I think you should come and check it out. Come on one of our viewing tours, there'll be a separate video on that. Have a great day.